What's going on, my friend? Daniel Kump here, back with another awesome myEcon video. And plain and simple, guys, this could possibly be one of the most important myEcon videos that you watch here on YouTube. And why? Because I'm simply going to break down what it means to treat your myEcon business like an actual business, okay? So it's not a hobby, you're not a participator, you're not gonna get a participation trophy just for being in myEcon. We're specifically talking about what it actually takes to be a business owner and treating your myEcon business like an actual business, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down 3 very specific things that if you apply what I'm actually teaching you, you can take your business to whole new levels, okay? Whether you're an MD, you're an EVP, you're an EVP Gold trying to get to Platinum, you're a Platinum trying to get to Infinity, you're an Infinity trying to get to CEO Infinity. Doesn't matter where you are, if you apply what I'm teaching you guys in this video and start treating your business like an actual business, you'll understand why this video is so important. So make sure that you watch all the way through and you get all the nuggets of information that I'm going to cover. The next thing, I want to make sure that you guys have a notebook, okay, something to write with, so you guys can take some notes, because I'm going to be using math, I'm going to be using a calculator, and I'm going to be using certain things that are going to help you understand the growth of your business, measuring those results and keeping track, okay? So like I said, we're going to cover 3 things. I'm going to start getting into that now. So if you don't have a pen and a paper, pause the video, go get that stuff, come back, get ready to learn, okay? So the 3 things that we're going to talk about. Number 1, all right, is measuring results, all right? Measuring results. Why would we measure results? Period, end of story. Every single business that is a legitimate operating business in the United States, or anywhere in the world for that matter, measures their results. And they measure their results daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, okay? 5 different ways. Now, trust me, I've been in retail sales my entire life. I've worked in multiple different businesses, and every business that I've ever worked for, they measure those results, and more importantly, and this is something that you need to think about, more importantly, they report the results back to the team. And that's something that you could potentially do too, because let's say if you on your specific team, you had a goal. Let's say you and your team, you wanted to sponsor 10 people a week or 20 people a week or 100 people a week. Doesn't matter what the number is, but you report to your team, hey, this is where we're at. This is how many people we sponsored. Great job to these 5 people for sponsoring this week. Awesome job, okay? So number 1, we want to talk about measuring results, okay? Measuring results. And yes, my handwriting does suck. Deal with it, all right? Each thing I talk about, each of the 3 things that I talk about, I'm going to break down so you guys can kind of get a visual and you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. Also, guys, realize too, and kind of sorry, not sorry, but this is probably going to be a longer video than my normal videos, which are typically in that like 10 to 15 minute range. This one's probably going to be a little longer because I'm going to go into a lot more detail. Like I said, this is a very, very, very important video, so make sure that you watch the video all the way through. If you like what you're seeing here, do me a favor, make sure that you click that subscribe button down below. Ring the bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. But this is plain and simple, guys. This is really, really important stuff. If you want to grow and sustain your myEcon business, you need to be applying what I'm showing you here, okay? So measuring results. Now, what does it mean to measure results? There's lots of different things that you could measure in your business, but we're going to talk specifically about business growth, which could also be known as team growth. How big is your team growing daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, okay? So we're going to look at weekly, all right? I'm going to show you guys weekly. I'm going to show you guys really 2 different examples, all right? We're going to look at a smaller team versus a larger team. And guess what? This is what makes this beautiful. The math doesn't change. Plain and simple, the math doesn't change. The math is always the same. So it doesn't matter what team size you have, like how big it is or how little it is, if it's just you, the math is always the same. And I'm going to show you guys the math. I'm going to show you guys how to use it. We'll bust out a calculator. I'll write it down for you so you guys can understand it. All right. So let's just say that you have a team of, I don't know, 5 people. All right. So you got 5 people on your team, and now you want to measure every single week what growth rate your team is at. All right. This is important stuff. So let's say, realize this too, the myEcon week goes from Saturday to to Friday. It's not your standard Monday through Sunday week, which a lot of businesses do, but I've been in other businesses that do the same thing. They do the Saturday to Friday thing. It makes sense. So the myEcon week goes from Saturday to Friday, okay? So what you want to do is, let's say it's, you plus 4 other people down below you, and you're currently at 5 total members on your team. So you're trying to get to gold, you're on the way there. It takes 8 people to get to gold, and you're at 5. Now, let's just say throughout the course of the week, you sponsor 2 people. You personally, somebody on your team, a combination of both, whatever. You sponsor 2 people, so by the time you get to Friday, you're at 7 total people on your team, all right? 7 total people. Now, my question for you is, what percentage of growth is that for you and your team? All right, how do you figure that out? And more importantly, why is that important? All right, so when you are measuring your results, plain and simple, you guys can go look at the studies, go look on YouTube, Google, whatever. But when you start measuring results, period, end of story, your results are going to start improving because you're keeping track of your daily success, your weekly success, monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc. When you start measuring your own results, you're keeping track of your success, and it keeps you on point. Now it's even more important that I want you to understand is when you start measuring results and reporting those results back to your team, that growth rate is going to get even better because you get everybody on the same page, okay? So what percentage of growth is 2 people added to 5? So this is where the math comes in, and this is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you some old school math, but old school is the new school, all right? This is important that you guys know how to stuff. This is very, very basic math, but you need to know how to figure this stuff out. So what growth rate is 2 people when you look at where you were at 5 and where you are now at 7? So plain and simple, what you want to do is you want to take where you landed, all right, which is 7, okay? And then you're going to subtract where you were, all right, which is 5, okay? So end of week, I'm just going to put EOW, which is end of week, all right? And then I'm going to put SOW, which is start of week, all right? So 7 is where you ended up, 5 is where you were. Obviously, the easy math is 2. So I'll do that here on the calculator because this is where the math is going to come in. So 7, all right, 7 minus 5 equals 2. Now, how do you get the percentage? What you want to do is now you're going to divide that 2 by where you were, all right? So you're going to divide that by 5. And again, this math doesn't change. It doesn't matter how big your team gets. This math does not change. So I'm going to divide, highlighted the divide, by 5, okay, by 5, and then I hit equals, and that gives me 0.4. It's actually 0.40 if I showed everything if this calculator showed everything. Maybe if I turn it sideways, it would. Sometimes it does that. Anyway, 0.4, which is also known as 40%. All right. So 0.4, which is also known as AKA 40%. That's how much your team grew, 40%. Now, if your team could grow 40% every single week, those would be some huge numbers and you guys would be growing very, very fast. But again, what you want to be doing is tracking this every week. So how we can double check this math, and this is how you can double check that your math is right. So again, you can take where you were at the start of the week. So, okay, oops. What we're going to do is we're going to take 5, and then we're going to multiply that times 0.40 times 0.40 equals 2. We grew by 2 people, okay? So you know that the math, you just did the math backwards and forwards, all right? Backwards and forwards. So that's how that works. But now what we can do is now let's look at that on a bigger scale. Let's look at it on a bigger scale. We're using small numbers, but now let's look at it using some bigger numbers just to see what that would be, all right? So now let's say that you're an EVP Infinity and you're trying to get to CEO Infinity. So EVP Infinity is 300 people or more. So let's just say that hypothetically you had a team of 400 people, right? And then in one specific week, now 400 people as of Saturday, and you grew by, let's say you grew by 60 people. Really doesn't matter because, you know, the math never changes. The math never changes. So you grew by, here we go. Start of week, you're at 400, all right? And then you have end of week, right? And you're at 460, all right? Everybody following along right here? And then what does that equals? So that equals, now what we're gonna do, just like the math, right? And pull out our calculator. What type of growth percentage would 60 people be, all right? So we have 460 people, because that's where we landed at the end of the week, minus where we started, which was 400. Okay, 460 minus 400. You guys can do the math at home if you want. So 60 people, that's what we grew. And then we're going to divide that, highlighted the divide, by where we were at the start of the week, okay, by where we were. That's going to net us, that is a 15% growth, 0.15, 15%. So this week, if we added 60 people to a team of 400, our team grew by 15%. Then we can take that, and if your team is in a group page, a group chat, you have a blog, you have a team website, whatever it is, if you want to say, hey, great job everybody last week, our team grew by 15%, congratulations to all these people for sponsoring people last week. You can use this and start reporting every single week. Hey, this week our team grew by 10%, 15%, 20%, 50%, whatever it is. Report those results back to your team, okay? Just like a real life CEO, a real life manager or business owner would do with their company, okay? The good people report the information back, all right? And again, now let's just double check the math, okay? So you can go 400 times 0.15. What do you get? 60. The math goes both directions, works the same way, okay? So that's how you figure out the math. Number one, measuring results. What is your rate of growth every week, every month, okay? Now, here's a key, and here's something that you have to figure out. Here's something that you want to know and you want to understand. So the other thing that you want to look at here is, this is where you were at the start of the week, all right? You were at 400. Now, realistically, you also want to know, did people drop off? Did people fall off? Did people quit? Okay? So you're going to want to know and understand that, because where you landed at the end of the week, I mean, ultimately the math is the same, but you also want to understand that why the math might not, you might seem like something might be off, but you also want to realize that, let's say hypothetically, you sponsored, because if you go and you look at your team sales report, all right, you look at your team sales report, it's going to tell you that you grew by 60 people. But let's say you grew by 60 people, but at the end of the week, you were at 435 people. And you're saying, wait a minute, hang on, we just brought on 60 people, but I'm only at 435 people. What happened? That math doesn't make sense. You also have to account, all right, you have to account for the people that might have gone inactive, they might have quit, they might have, said, I can't do this anymore, might have missed a payment, whatever it is. You want to look at that. So again, you can't pull the number, where you were and add it from your team sales report. You specifically have to look at your sponsorship viewer, okay? Because that's going to show the true number when it comes to Friday where your team is at. So keep in mind, there is a drop-off rate too. So not everybody that joins a network marketing opportunity is going to stick with it. People quit. It's a fact of life, okay? So make sure that you guys are factoring that in. So that is one way of measuring results. And I know it's a lot of information here, but this is why if you have to slow down, you have to go back, you have to watch this a couple of times to understand it. Once you understand it and you can start applying this into your business, all it's going to do is help. All it's going to do is help. It doesn't matter if you have, like I said, a team of hundreds or a team of just a few people. Measure your results, all right? Now what we're going to do is get into number two. Like I said, this video is going to be a little longer because I'm breaking down a lot of important stuff here, guys, but just know that if you're applying these things, all right, if you're applying these things, then all it's going to do is help your business, all right? Number two, all right, time blocking. Time blocking. What the heck is time blocking? What does that actually mean? If you want to treat your business like a business, and let's just say you're just like almost everybody else out there in the United States. You have a full-time or a part-time job, and then you're also starting myEcon. There's you don't just start myEcon and then from day one you become a full-time network marketer. You can do that, but I wouldn't recommend it, all right? What you want to do is, we all have lives, okay? Everybody has a life, whether you have, children, sporting events that you got to take your kids to, you have, dance rehearsals, recitals, all that other stuff. You got to balance life and business. But if you want to treat your business like a business, you need to be time blocking. So really, what does that mean? That means that in the course of a day, a week, a month, whenever it is, you are specifically setting aside time to work your business, all right? Time to work your business. So as an example, if you have a traditional Monday through Friday job, and let's just say that job is from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever, we'll just call it a 9 to 5 because everybody uses those terms. Let's say that you have a normal job, you got a normal job, and you work 9 to 5, all right? So if you know that Monday through Friday, you're working 9 to 5, when are you actually going to work your business? Are you balancing that with the rest of your life? With, if you have kids, if you have a spouse, significant other, whatever, you like to do certain hobbies like, going to sporting events or going to see concerts, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're balancing your life out, but you're treating your business like a business. What are you doing to make sure that you're working your business X amount of hours per day, per week, per whatever? So you want to look at your schedule, and I can't tell you what to work. I can't. I can't tell anybody on my team, anybody in my downline. I can't tell you what you should be doing. I'll give you an example. This is what I did. Okay. So back when I was working as a retail manager, and I probably was doing 45 to 50 hours a week, salary position, kind of a crazy job. I was driving 1 hour to, 1 hour from. So I was out of the house about 12 to 13 hours a day. So as a retail manager, being out of the house 12 to 15 hours a day, when am I going to work my business? So what I did is once I made the decision, I said, I'm going to go for this. I sat and I had a conversation with my wife and I said, I'm committing to this 100%. But in order for me to do that, okay, number one, you got to commit to yourself first. Then you have to figure out the rest of the life part. You have to figure out when you're going to time block. So what I did is every single day when I was working, I got home from work. I would, cook dinner. The family would sit down, would hang out for a little while. And then after our son went to bed, which is somewhere in the 8:30 range, okay, somewhere in the 8:30 range, about 9 o'clock, I would be right here in this office, and I would work from 9 until I just couldn't go anymore. So 9, let's just say till, midnight, okay? So what I did is, basically Monday through Friday, I would go from 9 p.m. until 12 a.m. So I committed to myself first and then my family that for 3 hours a day, I was going to be right here in this office, and that was my time. I wasn't disturbed with phone calls. I wasn't disturbed with family stuff. I wasn't disturbed with anything else. That was my time to be in here and work my business, okay? I time blocked. I pushed everybody out, and that was my time to work my business. Other time I did it is I took Saturday off, okay? Now this is just an example, but take Saturday off. It's family time. That's whatever. It's your time to go do, whatever you want to do, run around, run errands, go mow the lawn, all that good stuff. And then Sunday, what I personally like to do on Sunday is I'll take most of the day off, but then from, let's say, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night until about, maybe 11 o'clock. All right, so we're going to go like 8 p to 11 p at night is where we're going to kind of like set our week up. All right, I'm going to use this time right here. I'm going to use that time right there to map out my entire week. So every day I would even come over to this dry erase board right here, and I would write this week, okay? And I would date it, say the week of, we'll just call it August, whatever, August, whatever, doesn't really matter. I want to get done, these things. If I'm writing emails, if you have an autoresponder, I want to talk about posts. We're going to talk about videos we're going to do for YouTube. We're going to talk about webinars, all right? We're going to talk about follow-up. Who am I going to follow up with this week? What type of traffic am I going to run to my business? All of those things that go into your business, what you're going to do, that's what I would use Sunday for, and I would map out my entire week on using that Sunday night. Because like any other, think about this, like any other business, they are planning where they're going. Most businesses, so think about this again, treating your business like a business. Most businesses within a very small margin of error can tell you how much in sales they're going to do for the entire year based on previous track records, okay? So Amazon, right now, okay, we're more than halfway through 2019, depending on when and where you're watching this video. But I guarantee you that Amazon can tell you in 2020 roughly what they're going to do for sales. Why? Because they track their business metrics. And if you work for Amazon, if you were like, working in an Amazon warehouse or in the Amazon corporate office, I guarantee you would know what they do for sales every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. I guarantee you that they take their sales and they report it back to their employees. Guaranteed, just like any other business, all right? So Amazon knows what they're trying to achieve every single week. So for you, when you get to, one point in your week, you want to start mapping out what you want to accomplish in the upcoming week, okay? But block this stuff out. What does time blocking actually mean? That means that is your specific time that you block everything out. Like, if you have a door in your office, okay, you come in here, you shut the door, you work, you negotiate with your significant other, family, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter, but you negotiate that time. So you say, hey, when I'm in here, this is my time to work. I'm dedicated right now to this. I made a commitment to myself first, and I'm going to use this time to grow my business. All right. So super, super, super important. Time blocking. That is your time to work your business. Map it out. These are just examples, but map the stuff out. Know how to use that time, because point number 3, which is what I'm about to get into, that's where all of this comes into play, all right? So we know what time blocking is. We're using that. We know how to measure results. We're using that, all right? All good stuff. Third, number 3, this is probably the hardest part for everybody. Number 3 is probably the hardest part for any home-based business, network marketer, affiliate marketer, whatever it is, but one of the most important, okay? We're going to talk, oops, looks like a G, not a G, that's a C. Okay, we're going to talk about consistency. And this is probably the hardest one for most people to grasp onto. And everybody can, as an example, if you're into affiliate marketing, network marketing, whatever, and you use traffic, whether you're using solo ads, Facebook ads, whatever it is, pay-per-click, doesn't matter. You're driving traffic to your business. Where most people get it wrong is they drive a little bit of traffic to their business. Let's say you go out and you buy 100 clicks of traffic. You buy 100 clicks of traffic, you drive it to your business opportunity, you drive it to your capture page, you drive it to your lead page, whatever page it is. You drive it to that page, and then what happens is you don't get the results. This was your expectation. Hey, I want to be up here, and then you get this. And that's where most people go, and they don't get the results that they wanted to. So now, where does consistency come into play? Well, what happens if instead of driving 100 clicks one time, all right, instead of driving 100 clicks one time, what if you did 100 clicks per week, all right? And you stayed consistent with that 100 clicks per week. What if you got really good at your follow-up, all right? What if you got really good at your follow-up and now you are following up consistently with your leads, your traffic that was coming in? And over a period of time, think about this. You're in a business, you're watching this. If you've made it to this point in the video, then congratulations, because you're starting a business, you're running a myEcon business for the long term. This is not so you can get rich overnight. This is not, click the link below and, tomorrow night you're going to have $1,000 in your wallet. No, this is, you start a business so you can reap the rewards months, years from now. You have the potential to retire your family if you just stick with it, okay? So consistency, 100% out of the 3 things that we're talking about on this video, is the most important thing. So make sure whatever you set aside for time blocking, that you actually commit to that and you stick to it, and you do that every single time. So if it's, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, it doesn't really matter. You want to make sure that you stay consistent with that. And what you can do as you start going along, as you start measuring your results, you can start making what I like to call like micro adjustments, little mini micro adjustments. And you do that by being consistent, because as you're measuring your results, okay, as you're measuring your results, you're time blocking, you're being consistent, what you can start doing with the data that you're getting, and this is important, you know, you're measuring results, you're time blocking, you're being really consistent with your business. What you start doing is you start making little, what's called micro adjustments. Not major adjustments, but micro adjustments. All right, so what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that you're running a particular, if you're running traffic, or if you have a certain, it doesn't matter what the example that I'm using here, but if you're using traffic and you're running traffic to your capture page, if you're running traffic to your business and it's not converting at, you know, the rate that you were hoping for, or let's say that you have, you know, you have 5% growth every week, which realistically is a good number, okay? And I can tell you this, from being in retail my entire life, I can tell you that most big box retailers, you know, the Walmarts, Lowe's, Home Depots, you know, big shop, you know, supermarkets, on average, they grow from 3 to 5% a year, 3 to 5%. That is a good growth rate over the course of 12 months, believe it or not. All right. So if your team grows by 5%, that's not bad. It's really not bad at all. All right. So what you can do as you're driving traffic, as you are following up, you know, whatever techniques that you are using to follow up, you can start looking and making little micro adjustments to those techniques. So depending on what type of traffic source you're using, let's say that you go from running, here's a traffic example. Let's say you go from running solo ads and you switch over to running pay-per-click, okay? So, you know, you were running, this would be an example of a micro adjustment. You're running solo ads, okay, which is basically email advertising, and then you switch to a pay-per-click, PPC. Could be Google pay-per-click, could be Bing pay-per-click, it could be Yahoo pay-per-click, doesn't matter. But you make a little micro adjustment, okay? So that is a good thing. Now, a major adjustment would be if you just stopped running traffic altogether. That would be a major adjustment, but that would drastically affect your results, okay? So you want to make a little micro adjustment. So you can make micro adjustments with different types of traffic sources, different methods of following up. So let's say that, you know, here's another micro adjustment example. All right, another micro adjustment example. As you start looking at your data, your time blocking, you know, you're measuring your results, you're seeing a pattern. You're seeing a pattern start to emerge, which is ultimately what you want. Now what you can start doing is just another way of micro adjusting is, let's say that you're using primarily email to follow up. People are going through your capture page, all right, they're going through your capture page, they're landing on your landing page or VSL, video sales letter, and they're landing here, and then you're letting email do all of the follow-up for you. And you do that throughout your entire team. You just drive a bunch of and there's videos here on YouTube where, you know, some people talk about, you know, how to work your business 1 hour a day, and it's just driving traffic and letting the system follow up. Personally, for me, I think that's bullshit, because this is a people-to-people business, and people, you know, identify with real people, not just, this is not a business where, you know, your myEcon business is not where you can just set it and forget it and you become, you know, loaded and a thousandaire or a millionaire. It won't happen, okay? Just mark my words right now, it won't happen. So let's just say that you were driving traffic to your capture page, they saw the sales page, and then you followed up with emails. Well, a micro adjustment could be that, let's say that you also, with your capture page, you also get phone numbers too. Well, maybe a micro adjustment could be, you're gonna start texting all of your leads as well as sending out an email. So you just make these little micro adjustments, and then let's say you're texting all of your leads over the course of 30 days. Now what you could do is you can go back to step number 1, which is measuring your results. And now, you know, your first month, which is just email, your second month worth is phone and email, now you have some data that you can use to say, wow, when I started incorporating and texting my leads, we went from 5% growth up to 15% growth in 1 month. Like, that's crazy. So micro adjustments, really good thing to look at. What are some little subtle things that you can do to change your business and get different results, because you're measuring results, you're time blocking, you're being consistent. And that's really what it all comes down to, guys. I know there's a lot of scribble, a lot of jargon. Again, if you have to go back and you have to watch this video over, but those 100% are the 3 most important things that you could start doing right now, today, in your business, your myEcon business, to be measuring results, time blocking, being consistent. So you are treating your myEcon business just like a business. You're now operating just like a Fortune 500 company would, and you're able to take that data, measure it, know what's working and what's not working. And that's the thing. And that's also where consistency comes into play. If you're doing step 1 and step 2, which is measuring results and time blocking, blocking out your time and actually running your business like a business, you're going to have data, actual real life data that you can use. So as an example, if you're driving, if you're driving traffic, all right, that traffic is going to get you results, plain and simple. That traffic is going to get you results, and you're going to be able to analyze those results and start making micro adjustments. If you're using social media techniques, like you're posting on Facebook, you're posting on YouTube, you're posting on Instagram, if you do that consistently over a 30-day period, now you're going to be able to go back and look at your data and say, all right, I was posting once a day. As an example, I was posting once a day, and I was getting, out of every single post, I was getting 1 to 2 people looking at my page per day. Now what I'm going to do over the next 30 days is I'm going to post 3 times per day. I'm going to use my Instagram account. I'm going to post 3 times per day. I'm going to post, in the morning, in the afternoon, and then at night before I go to bed. I'm going to post 3 times per day. And then you'll be able to measure those results over the course of 30 days because you're consistent with your business. So instead of 1 to 2 visitors, now let's say you're getting between 5 to 10 visitors per day. You have data that you know is proven and it works, because people lie, guys, but numbers don't. Numbers never lie. So that's it, guys. I want to make sure that you guys understand those 3 important things when it comes to growing your myEcon business. You got to treat it like a business. And I hope this video helps. If this video help, can't talk right now. If this video was helpful for you, do me a favor, drop a comment down below this video, put #value. Let me know that this video was helpful for you. But that's it, guys. That's why, personally for me, I was able to take several businesses, build them up in over 6 figures. It's because I treat my businesses like a business. I'm consistent. I time block. I measure results every single week, every single month, quarterly, yearly, etc. So I encourage you to treat your business like a business so you can start measuring your data, getting better results, taking that data, reporting it to your team, and just treating it like a business. Because if you do that, it's going to take your myEcon business to all new levels. It's all what it's all about, guys. Stay consistent, stay in it to win it, and keep moving forward every single day. Like I said, I hope you guys got some great value from this video. If you have any questions whatsoever, click on my profile down below, reach out, send me a question, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. I'll see you guys on the next video. Have an awesome day.